One of those electronic voting dealies.
1 vote for McCain. Thank you.
No, I want to vote for Obama.
2 votes for McCain.
Come on, it's time for a change.
3 votes for McCain.
No, no, no!
6 votes for President McCain.
Hey, I only meant one of those votes for McCain. This machine is rigged. Must down President McCain. Ah! This doesn't happen in America. Maybe Ohio, but not in America. Ah!
Down under where the crypto flows. DeFi's here and everybody knows. PulseChain hacks, it's a crypto dream. Bitcoin, Ethereum, we're on the scene. Crypto happy hour, join the ride. Jump in the stream and feel the vibe. Be sure to hit the like. DeFi Down Under, streaming live. Richard Hart and politics collide. Freedom of speech, we won't hide. Macro views and chat so bright. Join on stream, it's a Friday night. Crypto happy hour, join the ride. Jump in the stream and feel the vibe. Be sure to hit the like. DeFi Down Under, streaming live.
G'day everyone. Welcome to DeFi Down Under Happy Hour. Base Radiant's keeping on the intro going, so that's always been him shaking and moving in the green room there.
Yeah,
Nice one.
it's a great one. I love it.
It is good. No, thanks. Yeah, no, it's cool. It gets me. I get it stuck in my head sometimes. So I don't know. Bloody,
We need a garage band to like record a real human version.
That's it.
Any dads out there?
I could arrange that.
Yeah.
Although I'd be shredding some solo over it anyway.
Yeah.
Or speed metal enough of it. But that's just
That's the add-on. We need the solo next, and
the human element.
That's
It's
it.
the Daft Punk humans and robots.
Exactly. But welcome everyone to DeFi Down Under. It's the Make Crypto Great Again happy hour this week, which I thought was, a good name for it just because of everything that's going on with the Richard Hart hearing and all that. It's, he's really getting in there to bat for everyone, organizing all of this and backing himself up and the whole of crypto. So I think he is the one that can make crypto great again. So
Yeah, awesome.
Yep. What's happening, Dozza?
G'day to everyone. What's up, Big Rig? How have you been, mate? You've been staying up watching the proceedings, or I guess the reactions from the proceedings from the US, or did you watch it this morning?
Yeah, I was woke up pretty early, but I saw everything happening beforehand and then after. So lots of excitement there. The vibes are, in that song it says about feeling the vibes, and I'm feeling a lot of positive energy from it. So
I'm definitely feeling more positive after hearing everyone's feedback. There was, so many people saying that it was bullish sort of sentiment coming out of it. So RH Max had a really good stream. Shout out to him. And, I think SJ and RG and a few people, spoke about their experience, and they said that it was mostly positive.
Yeah, exactly. So positive. Crypto Heartbeat had a really good stream as well with Axis when he came out, and also Danny the Singer. So they gave a really good sort of report as soon as they walked out, and that was pretty good, very entertaining. But they reckon, even after speaking to Richard's lawyers, that they're just like basically very confident, and they even said the words and all of this is hearsay, right? I'm going on what I've heard.
We weren't there. Yeah.
So we've just done our research and sort of listened today. But they even said that it's almost just like they practiced. So they're well and truly into it. They know what they were, going to get hit up on.
It sounded like that they had the A team of lawyers for RH. The all-star lawyers that represented, I think, Elon in a similar case against the SEC, and so those guys were just super professional and just ultra confident. So And then, and from what I could tell, it sounded like people were saying that the SEC lawyers were sort of on the back foot, making sort of circular arguments and getting sort of grilled by the judge.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's exactly what you want to hear, right?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like the judge was really fair, like on both sides, but the SEC were just coming in with cheap shots. And apparently the judge even said that they didn't have enough meat on the bone with a lot of it. And in fact, there wasn't enough bone either. So with some of their statements, because they just kept coming back to simple things, with, from what I've heard. So pretty cool.
They're basing it on some sort of bone broth. They've just got like this bone soup. It's like, it's not quite, there's no meat, there's no bone. It's just like there used to be a bone, but
yeah,
we've retracted the bone. Because didn't they get rid of, apparently they played down the hex being the alter ego part, which I thought was probably the dumbest part of their whole argument, was that, that the code itself was on trial. But then now they've played it down. Like maybe someone sort of was like, bro, that's dumb. Like, don't say that.
Yeah. Apparently the judge said that they have to talk on each one and prove jurisdiction for the alter egos and Richard separately. She's not going to take it as combined as one. So they basically had
that is ridiculous. Yeah.
So,
did you watch it? Base rating? Did you watch any of the streams or anything?
I didn't watch any streams, but I watched a someone firsthand account. So
nice.
it just popped up in my face. I didn't see a whole lot on it, but
I've got a video here from Nuclear Hertz, which
he's take him as gospel, but
I
think it was some flat
was it Game Crypto
Mexican or something. It was some guy. No, it was like someone who was there, but like I just saw it.
He was the one guy that wasn't wearing a suit, bro. He was the one guy who wasn't. You see the photo, everyone's suited up.
Down.
And then he's just wearing his t-shirt with his shilling his flat earth thing. I was like, bro. Come on.
Well, I heard that guy. That's the guy.
Yeah.
So don't take me for...
Maybe he had a wardrobe malfunction on the way in. We'll give him some, cut him some. He was there. He was there when
he still turned up. And I mean, look, shout out to the guys that flew over, interstate in the US. I know I saw Hex Rockstar there, so shout out to him. He's obviously flown in internationally.
Check out that turnout.
Look at
there you go. Look at the Hex Rockstar in the middle, just the charisma.
Yeah.
Draws it to him. Maybe it's just me, but I'm just like,
he stands out. I tried to get him on tonight, but he's like, man, I need to sleep. Come on. I'm like, all right,
different time zones, man. I mean, I was watching it at like 2 a.m. and I was like, oh, I got to go to bed. This is getting a bit late now. So it's the opposite end over there now.
Was it just streamed or recorded as well? Is there somewhere you can go?
They weren't allowed.
Allowed.
Right. Just like no, I mean like not. Obviously, it's a court, so you can't record. But
some courts
like
you can,
sometimes the court itself like does a live stream or something, and So I was just
I haven't seen any transcripts. I'd be keen to see a transcript though.
Apparently, they're going to put a transcript out. That's what I heard in one of the streams.
Keyboard typer, so it's like brr, brr, on the
it's the stenographer is just going on.
Exactly.
That's an epic photo. And look, shout out to these guys. They've put their money on the line, flown across the country, or across the world. They've taken their time away from their families and all this sort of stuff just to show support for Hexicans, PulseChainers, and for Richard Hart. So
Absolutely.
Massive shout out to these guys. That's an amazing effort.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's for sure. No, they've done very well. I wish I could have been there. I'm sure you guys do as well, but a little bit far for us to travel. But yeah, it's so good.
Rather buy that dip, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they filled the courtroom and there was an overflow room as well with like 15 of them in there. So
I heard that. There was like a big TV screens and stuff in one room.
No, that's cool.
For the overflow.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, them representing, and also I guess it would intimidate the prosecution because they're sort of saying, all these guys got scammed, and it's like, yeah, but this place is filled with people who are supporting the guy the other guy, the guy who you're saying has scammed them, they hardly look scammed, like because they're
showing up for what they believe in
to oppose what you're saying. So it
Yeah.
doesn't give weight to their argument. The only thing that I heard which did give some weight to their argument, because we're talking about it being a jurisdiction case. So this isn't the case, right? This is just to whether the case goes ahead and as to whether they have any jurisdiction to try this case at all, was that they were sort of, well, from what I heard, there was one point in the trial where they were saying, is there any indication that there was Americans that had been affected by this, or that American investors sort of thing, because how do we know that it's Americans? And the guy pointed to the gallery as like evidence that, well, maybe you should ask these guys. But that's not really fair, because there's people there that are from around the world as well.
People flew in, and the judge didn't let them do that, so that's pretty funny.
Yes, then it's like, well, hang on, Hex Rockstar is not Americans, so like, but still, that would have been a little bit of a point for them, because if you're thinking about it being a jurisdiction, then there would have been American investors or just people participating in it. But it sounded like it was more just they were basing their jurisdiction call based on this one guy in Brooklyn who made the complaint, and it's like one guy.
I heard
$50 back. Like.
Refund him out of your own pocket. I heard the whole jurisdictional thing came up quite a lot, and the judge at one point was like, and this is like a third party quote, so it's
sure.
But they said,
checks
where does the blockchain live? Oh, hey.
Where does it live?
Like, is it here? Is it in the room in New York here with us? Kind of thing. She didn't say that, but you know what I mean? Like, it was.
Validators around the world. So
it's planet wide.
Apparently she didn't want to answer that, so she answered it for them, because they just kept beating around the bush with that question, and she ended up having to say it.
That's a bigger statement than what most people realize as well.
Yeah, true. It is. It's cutting right to the point of it. But hang on a tick. There's people around the world. I mean, we're in Australia, right? And we're talking about it. And really, what the SEC did was actually they adversely affected international investors as well. So where's their responsibility?
Recompense.
Exactly.
It's also more important for. So let's say you want to move around the globe, and you don't necessarily want to be tied to one location. The fact that these assets exist in isolation in a little bubble that you can't pin down to a jurisdiction or anything, that's pretty important.
It's huge.
It's something they haven't dealt with much, so it's setting new grounds.
They don't know how. A, they don't know how to tackle it, and B, you can't. Like who? No. Okay,
and that by design.
If one country says I want jurisdiction over Ethereum, what's every other country going to do?
And you could subpoena every validator in New York, and it would still hum along perfectly. Like, it would be fine.
And what about VPNs as well? Like, it doesn't really make sense, because I could represent that I'm in the US just by going through a VPN, and they go, oh look, this guy's in wherever, New York, and he's a validator. It's like, no, it's not. It's a VPN. It's like
So they could, if you're talking about points of attack, like you say, base rating, they could tell, like, go, if you've got servers running on Amazon or somewhere domiciled in the US, they could say, no, we want you to shut them all down. And that's happened before. There's some VPS providers that won't let you run crypto miners and things like that, or validators. But like you say, you just self-host that shit then, and then what do they do? Like, how far do you try and stop it? It's exactly what happened with Napster, like back in the day.
Yeah.
And those were the days.
Peer-to-peer.
Winamp and Napster.
Digital cash.
I'm that old. But apparently the SEC had tried in a previous case to sort of show that if it was the person who was receiving the funds, whether it was a jurisdiction case, and then in this case they were sort of arguing the opposite. So there was it seemed to be that they were giving conflicting evidence.
But see, even that's funny, like, so if someone sends money to a wallet, and like you literally can't take that next logical connection and say, okay, Dozza's potentially using that wallet, but there's no literal tie there. There's no legal tie there, so it doesn't actually even end up in your custody. Really, it's just this thing on the blockchain. So
you just can move it around with your keys, but the fact that like anyone could have those keys, somebody could have looked over your shoulder and read them off. And how at that point do you know what makes a wallet stolen? You know?
And what is ownership of keys? Just having seen them, because 43's talked about that a lot and stuff like that. And I agree with him that it's like, so what when people confiscate some Silk Road keys or something like that, and they're on some server somewhere, having just glanced at them, do you now own them? Because like at what point is it getting silly?
We had a little bit of a chat about that today. Claire's done a spaces this morning, first thing this morning.
Yeah, she did a space. Good on her. That was good.
Yep. I didn't get to hear that one. Was it recorded?
I think it was. I'm not sure whether Claire's kicked it off or whether it was Maddie Allen.
I think she was a co-host maybe for Maddie Allen.
Oh yeah, I listened to a bit of that one actually. I saw her in there, but I must have logged off before she.
I've got a little bit of audio here from Nuclear Herbs and Maddie Allen. If you want, just give me the thumbs up if you can hear this one.
I'll crack my invisible beer first.
Some of that stuff with respect to the fraud. The entire fraud claim has to do with Richard allegedly spending PulseChain funds on shit that he wanted to buy. And I thought it was very telling that the judge was like, one of her questions, was basically down the road of, well, who says he can't? Like, he delivered a product that he said he was going to deliver. That's not fraud. And he spent other money on stuff that, even if he did buy a Ferrari with it or did buy a diamond with it or whatever, like, she's like, well, why can't he do that? Like, and I thought that was very telling. Like, and the SEC's only response was, well, he gave everybody the impression that their funds were going to be used to develop this blockchain. And the judge basically correctly noted, it got developed. He did it. He launched it. Like, I mean, what's your fucking problem, essentially, right? So I thought that was very telling. And if she's thinking along those lines, I can't imagine that's horribly bad for Richard. I just really don't. I can't, I think if he had made explicit promises, like, I'm going to use all this money for this purpose and this purpose only, and then he did it, and he bought a diamond with it, I think he might have a problem. But if he's basically saying, you don't know where it's going, and once you give it up, you're done here, and then he launched a product he said he was going to do anyway. I'm not sure she's got enough facts from the SEC to go with them on that argument, honestly.
That's assuming you actually get jurisdiction, which is it's just so, like, I mean, we've all known that it was frivolous from the beginning, and you can't tie it all together. But it's
but isn't that interesting? Because like that is, so even if the jurisdiction thing doesn't get the case dismissed and the case goes ahead, it sounds like they're sort of setting up like the case almost as well, especially in the judge's mind. They're sort of like putting some of this stuff out there, and even the judge, even though that's not really related to jurisdiction, she's kind of saying, well, hang on, if he literally told you to have no expectations and that your money's gone, he's not going to spend it on whatever you want, he's going to spend it on whatever he wants. And then, but their expectation is that they get a blockchain out of it, and then he produces the blockchain, then it's done. That's the deal. Like that. And then what he does with the money that he said that he was going to, he told you at the start, he was going to spend it on whatever the fuck he wanted to. And then he goes and spends it on a diamond. Well, then he told you he was going to do that.
Yeah. Sorry, you go. I
was just going to say that Nuclear Herbs, like saying that, keep in mind, mate, this is the lawyer. This is the guy who knows what's up. This is like, if I had said that, people go, yeah, I agree. But the fact that Nuclear Herb said it, and he's pointed that out as quite a telling point, I was like, yes, go team.
Yeah.
So all that the SEC does, so when it comes to like IPOs, investor protection in their eyes, it's about disclosures, and they want to make sure that the investors have enough disclosure. And Richard has been very, very specific. Like you go look at the Hex website from day one, or the PulseChain one, they all had massive disclosures on them about how the market tanks. It's volatile. You can lose all your money. Like there's no promises. He has literally done all the disclaimers, which most projects don't even do. So although it's probably not formatted in the exact way that the SEC would require, you haven't filled out their forms and everything, he's done all the disclosures. Whether people chose to read them or not, different thing.
Yeah.
But
I had a flick through them, and they're in RH's kind of wording too. He I remember at some point he's just like, once you contribute your Sachs funds, your money is gone. Basically, I think was the sentiment around that. It's like it's gone.
Pretty obvious.
That's it. So
yeah,
and someone may airdrop something or yada yada yada, and it all happened. And so I think the space between where it's promised and then released is over. There's no questioning that, and I think everything was above board and delivered on. I don't.
Yeah, and if the implication was that he would use that money to develop a blockchain, well, then he did it. Like it exists. We use it all the time. Like it's PulseChain. It's awesome. So then you know, there's no misappropriation of funds there because that was the thing. No. And then
and you couldn't even prove if he did go spend it on Lambos and things anyway, because it's pseudonymous and he wouldn't perjure himself under the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, you couldn't prove that. Yeah, you'd have to have good evidence. And
so there's like layers, right? Of like, chill out, just SEC, you need to stop.
Yeah, you've got like sentiment and emotions, and then you've got evidence and case law that you can prove in a court. And I think that's the difference.
Did you guys see the timeline that the lawyers had put together?
Yes, I did. I've actually got it here. If you got it there, True Blue?
Yeah, that is the thing. That is like that's the nail in the coffin for the SEC.
Yeah, and they kept referring back to it. Apparently, I can't actually zoom in. Sorry, guys. So, but it's on Matty Allen's page if you want. Did that come up? Yep. Yeah. So they kept referring back to it, and a lot of the stuff they were having a go at was after most of these facts, by the sound of it.
Yeah. So that I think the thing that their case hinged on was the way, like, was he promoting it to the US citizens? Like, did he come into the US and promote it specifically to US citizens?
Yeah. And so because he appeared, he appeared virtually. This was at the Hex conference in March 2022, and then August 15, 2022, and September 7, 2022.
Yep.
So those virtual appearances were all post the sacrifice phase. So it's like he can't tell you to invest in something that was done. It's finished.
Yeah. And so they, by the sounds of it, they had an issue. They were trying to get them on the point that there was still funds going into the sacrifice wallets. But they were trying to explain to the judge that you can't stop that. You can't, it's not like, mainstream sort of financial stuff where you can cut off the credit card payments or whatever. You actually can't stop it. You could send money into it right now. So that was out of his control, but he put up on the site, the sacrifice period is over and whatnot. And it was very clear. So, yeah. And the other thing is, by the sounds of it, they were really hanging on the fact that, he put up these conferences and stuff. Meanwhile, Matty Allen's in the, sitting there, the one that actually ran them. So, yeah, it was pretty clear that they made it pretty clear that he had nothing to do with them. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Clearly been a community conference that was organized by Matty Allen. But yeah, it's not him that's organized it. So, and I mean, even if you think about it, the coins that were airdropped to, if you think of it from a legal point of view of sort of saying that people made some sort of statement, in support of freedom of speech and freedom of movement, and then they were airdropped some tokens. They had $0 value until some time after, and then once the bridge was live, and people gave it value, so then that value was given by the community, or whoever provided liquidity. That wasn't necessarily given by RH. So he didn't actually give people anything. If you think of it that way, you can kind of go, oh, geez, their case is starting to look pretty. It's on thin ice. It's like thin ice on top of thin ice on top of thin ice. It's like, come on now.
Yeah, I think if they had have done their homework, which I can only assume they're either ignorant and don't understand the space at all, or they just didn't do their homework, which I think is probably more.
I think they're just incompetent. I think at the end of the day, the SEC don't have a great record at winning these cases.
But I think what they do is they've attacked literal companies. So registered companies like the library one and all that, where they had a team of people working on a product. Ripple, which is a company. So there was literally a US based entity that you could go after, and then out of left field they've gone and chased an entity that doesn't. They literally had to make up another term for these entities called pseudo. What was the term?
Pseudo entity, something like that.
Alter
ego.
Alter ego is like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, and the other part. Yeah, and the other thing is that there was no investment contract either. So that's a big difference as well, because a lot of the other things they've chased actually had investment contracts attached to it.
Because they would have had seed rounds where other companies or private individuals did actually invest in those seed rounds, and they would have had contracts that maybe they got equity in the company as well as tokens or something like that, where this was just done differently. It was a different beast, and they just don't. Yeah, like you say, I think they must have been incompetent on that level.
Yeah, and look, he seems like an easy target, because a lot of people sort of underestimate Richard Hart. I think they look at the Gucci tracksuits, they look at him twerking, and they see the Louis Vuitton bags and stuff, and they go, "Oh, I get it." Like, they've just stereotyped him and just pigeonholed him into a category of scammer, and they think that they understand it just by looking at that image. And they don't realize that he's designed Hex from the very beginning to not be a security. And he's taken every single step along the way to say things that you would never expect a founder to say, to say that if you sacrifice your money is gone and you should have no expectations. You wouldn't think that if someone was trying to drum up money that they would ever say that. But he said it. Because he knew that, if anyone was going to pull him up later, he could just point to that video and be like, here's me telling you that you're going to get nothing in return. So it's they don't realize that he's that far ahead. He can see the future, man. He's fucking...
Yeah. He would have invested in lots of vetting and... Yeah, Nostradamus. In lots of vetting and combing through every line of code and every, thing he says before he even released Hex. I think... he was very confident to debate. I think it was 3 lawyers, right? 3 legal.
Yeah, there's lawyers at the start.
That was a long time ago, and that he sat on that call until all 3 dropped out from memory. So, yeah.
I'd like to think having 15 years staking with Hex that he wouldn't have created it without all of that in place for people to just get trapped, stake stuff, and then it all turns bad. So he definitely had it planned out very, very well. I'm just going to say good day to the chat very quickly. I've been neglecting you guys. First in, UFO. How you going, man? Good to see you jumping in. 43's here. Thanks, man. He asked, is this the late show? Well, it's the late show for some, I guess.
I think it's because we were late. Coming on. It's trying to be funny.
Yeah. There we go. I was going to say it's definitely not as OG without him in here. And Klaz is here. Hey, Klaz. Hope you're going well. Yaveen's always jumping in. Thanks for always being in here and commenting.
Yeah, he's on the replay Well, they're on the replay as well.
On here, the replay on
game.
Twitter, sharing our stuff always. So it's
Always.
so good. Always. Hi ho Hex. Hey Quinny Gin. Oh, our mate VTX. How you going, man?
Hey, VTX.
If you're up, send us a message, man. You can always jump on. We'd love that.
Yeah, it's a good guy.
McNuggets. Hey.
Another
we'll get you on one day.
McNuggets. Yeah.
Exactly.
And step up.
I agree with this one. Like upon entry, subscribe. We're still at damn 950 and it's fluctuating up and down. So we got
that's
the
right.
bots.
Get your alt accounts out.
Yeah.
Got to subscribe.
That's going to be our top metric.
Yeah.
You've got to watch the numbers and see what happens.
Yeah. 2 months. I want to get by Christmas. Come on. We got to get to 1,000.
At what subscriber count do you think we've hit the peak of the market?
Well, where was it last time? But it was on Discord Syndicate, so that was a bit different.
No, Late Show. I think Late Show had. Oh no, because we were doing a lot of stuff.
It was streaming on Discord, though.
Yeah,
during the peak.
It was only being
I think in
mirrored
terms
on
of user count, like we had over 1,000 viewers on. One episode.
I think I had like 4,000 views or something from memory on one of them.
Oh, but on a live, on one particular live night, I thought we got up.
Oh, I don't know in terms of live viewers, but yeah, that's hectic.
Dozza,
there's a lot of buzz some nights when it gets hot, like the market.
Yeah,
it starts getting heated.
Definitely, that'll be good. Yeah, I vote Dozza to run the stream when there's 1,000 viewers. I'll do the 30, 40 viewers. That'll be sweet. So I'm fine.
I've got a baby on the way, man. I've got in December, Christmas baby. So
that's cool. We're base radiant trained.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, no, it's exciting stuff.
I'll come on and I'll be like, my eyes will be like a mess. Like I'll just be like, so tired and just be
30
covered
minutes
in
sleep.
like vomit, like baby vomit and stuff, and just be like, yeah, what? Oh yeah, we're mooning, yeah.
That's funny. You're not trying to make that sound hard. I hope Klaz isn't more casual than you, because if you're making it sound a lot worse than her, that'd be a bit sad.
Yeah, look, we'll be right. It's our third time, so we're sort of, we know what we're doing now.
Yeah, exciting times. But yeah, as Randolph says, congratulations and
thanks.
Hoping all goes well between now and then. It's not long, is it?
Nah, it's like about a month away.
Far out.
Or probably a bit more, 6 weeks.
Good stuff.
Exciting times.
Hey, Jaxa, you've been cooking.
Yeah, and been a little bit busy.
Yeah. I saw your video.
Like there's an end in sight either at the moment. It's hectic.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sure there's plenty to go with it even after you've launched the project. But yeah, I saw your video on Vouch just come up on YouTube the other day, and it was a nice sort of short explainer video, sort of base level. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was the second cut of that. So I'd done one of those, which was just sort of saying, "Oh, look, this is on the way."
Yeah.
And since I launched, I thought I better just tweak that one and redo a bit of the ending, so it's not is coming, that it's actually live. So yeah, that's why I redone that one. But yeah, nice, sweet 6 minutes or less, I think, to about 6 minutes to understand what liquid staking is on PulseChain.
Yeah, nice.
And it's been really good. Like there's, I haven't actually been out actively promoting it as such. I've just done sort of a launch, and there's a flow of people coming in and staking, which is good. So just getting all the validators up and running and making sure that's all working as it should, and just ironing out any little things, which look, that'll be an ongoing process of improvement all the time. We'll add new features and things like that. So that's ticking away, but good to see it's all up and rolling. What else we got going on that front? I set up a whole new Twitter account and everything for Vouch, and it just got nuked this morning by X.
Oh, really?
Just ruthless, man. Like, I don't know, didn't do anything wrong. Hadn't even posted on it. Like, it was just getting it all set up, and they've nuked it because they reckon it's a bot. I'm like, holy hell! So now I've got to try and unban it. And it's just like I've got PR announcements going out with the staffy guys and everything, and I've got to try and resurrect that account. They're just shit. Like, they just absolutely nuke everything.
Yeah, and even though there's all these other bots lurking and all these scammers making copy accounts and stuff, and legit things get turned away. It's shocking.
Yeah, and you can't even upgrade your account so that they know it's a human. Like, you can't pay for a subscription or anything. Once they decide they're going to nuke it, they just trash it. And
okay. I hope you get that sorted soon.
Yeah, look, the good thing was there was 0, like 9 or so followers on it, so it's not a big issue. But just annoying, those little things. But got plenty to do. You can go check out the front end. Like, if you go to vouch.run, that's sort of like the landing page for the project, and from there you can see the docs and audits and all that sort of stuff. You can get to the front ends, and But if you're a validator, love to see you on the system. So if you're doing that sort of stuff, by all means, reach out. We'll get you on board as a validator. I've got a funny feeling we're going to need a lot of validators.
Yeah, that'll be nice. That's a good problem to have, isn't it? So I'm sure you'll get the support as well. Give people. There might be some new people in here, but just let them know, the basics on what Vouch actually is and how easy it is to get into if you can.
Yeah, go to if you just launch the user app from there.
Yep. Sweet.
It may have opened it in another tab, has it?
Oh, yeah, it must have. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Are you sharing a tab or?
Yeah, it must have.
Share as a window.
There we go.
Yeah, so if you want the quick rundown on it, the 6-minute video is really good to watch. But if you want it from a user perspective, literally, if you're holding Pulse in your wallet, you just put in the amount you want to stake, bang that in. Yep. So obviously you've got to have your wallets and all that connected, but you just stake that. And as soon as you do that, you'll mint vPulse, which is essentially your claim on the Pulse you put into the system then. So you've still got the liquid balance sitting there. That's the whole liquid staking component. So you've sent funds in to stake them, but instantly you've got something of equal value straight back out into your wallet. So you're still liquid.
Yep.
And then over time, you can see that when you put in, what's that, 1 million?
I think so. 10 million, isn't it? 10.
Yeah,
you got 1 million.
Yeah, 1 million there. Yeah. Sorry.
So you've put in 1 million, but it says you will receive 999.
Yep.
So you're not quite getting a 1-to-1 ratio at the moment.
Sure.
Yep.
The reason that is we've already started minting rewards. So over time, vPulse will go up against Pulse. So if you were to send in 1 Pulse and get 1 vPulse out, and then you come back 12 months later and you put that 1 vPulse in, you're going to get more than 1 Pulse out.
Yep.
So it's accruing all the interest in the background. So that's pretty much, from a user's perspective, it's super easy. You're literally one button.
Yeah. The UI is awesome, bro. Well done.
Yeah, and then there's a whole nother app for the validators, which that's a little bit more convoluted, and I won't get into that on this stream. But yeah, there's a whole lot going on in the background from the validator.
Have you spoken to David Feeder about because you know how he does?
Yeah, he's actually running some stuff on testnet already. He's gone AWOL. I don't know whether he was at the thing for RH for the court case or not. But
I've got see him in the photo, but I didn't look that closely.
Yeah. I've been trying to connect with him again on Twitter, and
you'd think his beard would stand out. So I would have thought.
So he's gone. Maybe I've got to dig him out again. But yeah, he's he's been running some validators, and there's probably a chance that he'll play a greater part in the system as well.
Awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
So pretty much what's happened to date, this is sort of phase 1. Phase 1 is literally just get the protocol out the door. So you got all that's the liquid staking part and the validators and everything. So that's all there. And phase 2 is, okay, how do we now take this system and give it to the community, and that's more about governance of the system. So that's the bit I'm working on now.
That's cool.
Okay.
So the beauty of this is you don't need 32 million Pulse to, set up your own validator. You don't need the hardware, or you don't need to rent a spot in the cloud somewhere up there, or anything like that. So, and you can just jump straight in, and you get something liquid straight back as well. So,
So
that's great.
as a normal validator, you are locking up 32 million Pulse, which you cannot get out. If you want to exit that out, that's going to take you days to exit out.
Yep.
So a good 2 or 3 days to exit out.
Is there anything with the actual liquidity for the VPulse side, if you were to sort of want to do something with it? Is there liquidity going to be put up? Is that something for the users to do? And that's what you're hoping for?
Yeah, that's going to be a user thing. So there's a pool on Dex Screener. We've registered the token with Dex Screener and everything. So it's you can see it there. There's probably 0 transaction volume on there, I'd imagine. I've put up a small amount of liquidity, and that was just so we could get the prices set before anyone else went and done anything silly, setting up pools. So that's all done. But yeah, there's a good chance that we might see some yield type farms where you can get your VPulse, go chuck that in with some Pulse or something like that.
Awesome.
And some rewards. And who knows, if you're going to distribute governance tokens, they might be a good group of people to give some governance tokens to.
Nice. Okay.
For sure.
Cool. I really like the idea that you're sort of increasing the robustness, if that's a word, of the network by encouraging validators. Really, so you sort of, because more people you're gonna need more validators, and more validators are going to start to use your system, and then the more people are going to want to be able to stake their Pulse, because I guess you can stake your hex, you can do all this sort of stuff, and I think originally we were going to be able to have a delegated proof of stake where we were able to delegate Pulse to different validators, but then of course that's not the case now. Like it's just proof of stake, not delegated proof of stake. But then now it just gives, rather than people just storing their Pulse in their wallets, they can actually effectively earn yield on it. Yeah.
So there's 2 things with that. So you're right, at the moment, if you've just got Pulse sitting in your wallet, you are getting a little bit diluted. That's just the nature of these networks. That's the same on ETH, Bitcoin, most blockchains. There's some, because
it's inflationary in some regard.
That's how you pay that's how you incentivize all the miners or validators, or that's the way most of these systems work. The pros and cons with the delegated stake. So that's originally what we were going to do, it was all be delegated stakes, and there's some good in that. It means everyone can stake with proxies or delegate their stakes to them, but that also means you've got half a dozen machines that are running the network. So I think on the chain it was going to be something like 20 or 30 machines running the network. So the ETH
this is more decentralized. This is more decentralized.
So that's sort of the pros and cons. You can nerd that out and argue out each why one's better than the other. But the reality is, so I think this is good, just giving everyone a chance to get some of the yield in the network, and hopefully we can do some cool things with the liquid staking token as well.
Yeah, and it might encourage more validators, right? Because
it's so if people want to do the liquid staking, then validators are going to be required. So if you're a validator, that's good. If you're already using your hardware, so using your technical skills and your hardware to run one of these machines, you can max out as much as you can do. So if you've got to chuck in 32 million Pulse each time, you are going to hit a point where, okay, you've run out of capital. Whereas this, you're able to keep taking your skills and knowledge and growing, and you still got to put up stake, but you can run a lot more than what you would have been able to. So you're getting paid to do it essentially, which is good. But yeah, I would like to think it's going to encourage a bit more lockup of Pulse, which is a good thing all around.
Definitely. Yep. No, that's what we want.
Mm.
That'll be good stuff. Similar, well, not similar, but yeah, there's all other ways to lock up your Pulse with like liquid loans with the Vault and stuff like that as well. So yeah, the more the merrier. Yeah, it'll be great. Very nice.
Cool, man. Well done, Jexa. That's amazing. You've obviously been working hard on that for a long time, getting all the code and everything right. So yeah, congratulations.
The UI looks super clean. Super clean.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wish I could take all the credit for that, but there's another team that done all the skeleton work there. So that is it's good code. And
is there audits and things like that?
Yeah. So all the smart contracts have been audited. Yeah. That's all. You can go check out our docs. You can see all that. The front end, there's just nice little things in there that you don't expect, and as you're using it, you go, oh, cool, it does this. And it's not so much from a user perspective, it's more from the validator perspective. You see all those nice little things that you wouldn't normally.
Yeah. No, it's so good. A few people giving you props in the chat as well. Yeah, very nice. Hexagon Lost in Asia, good to have you on. Thanks for jumping on here as well. So yeah, if anyone wants to check that out, it was vouch.run. Is that right? And Jex's YouTube channel as well. What was it? What was the name of that?
I'll have to give you my personal one now because the other one's been nuked. I think mine's J_Jexa.
Yeah, cool. And Bradshaw Knox on YouTube, is that what it was called? No. Oh yeah, J_.
If you just search Jexa, it'll come up. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. No, very good. And the link's in the chat too. So.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Well done. So good.
Have you got like a link tree or something on your Twitter? Maybe you need to do something like that, so then people can be like, "Oh, Bradshaw Knox" or whatever. Like, you know, the HexSafe win, because you've got all the security stuff as well, and then people can be like, "Oh, okay, cool. This is Vouch." Like,
yeah, I do need to get more organized with that sort of stuff. That's for sure.
need a assistant.
Yeah, marketing stuff. Yeah.
How's this comment from VTX? The SEC is incompetent and drinking hella soy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly right.
Pretty much sounds about right. There's a good write-up by Money Gain Crypto. I won't read through it, but if you go onto his Twitter, he's got a good summary on there. So check that out if anyone wants to have a good read up. There's so many streams and stuff. It's good to sort of catch up on all of that. At the end of it all, it could almost get that, like, there's a possibility that in the next couple of months, it could just get dismissed. So it's not likely, but there is that chance that it can.
Isn't that crazy?
So
that it could just be a decision that it gets dismissed if they didn't, have
the judge can dismiss it, or Gensler could get fired and they just drop it. That is also another possibility.
Bro, that might be happening sooner rather than later if Trump gets in. That's like, is it the 5th? When's the US election? That's like 5 days.
It's not long.
Yeah, a few days. Hopefully they see the sign that Crypto Coffee was holding up there. Maybe Gensler was driving,
nice.
driving past or something. Yeah.
Well done, Crypto Coffee.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a lot happening there. Hey, I listened to the stream you guys did last week. Obviously, I wasn't there. And while I was listening to it, I sort of sat back and thought, like, how lucky everyone is, really, like, to have you guys coming on and sharing the alpha they were. Because I'm always just sitting here and we're chatting, but listening to it, it's like, you put a lot of time into it, or the knowledge, research, and stuff like that. And it was just a really good stream with 43 as well when he was on. And so I even take it for granted, just the convos we have. But hearing it and not being a part of it, just listening, it was like far out. You get sort of taken back to reality about it. So you did really well.
Crazy because we kind of brainstorm a lot, like Base Radio and yourself and 43 and Jexa. We're all just like bouncing off each other, and then sometimes we like home in on some of these ideas,
Yeah.
And then you think about it later and you go, far out. That was pretty close to exactly what's going on. And then like I'll have a chat with someone and then they'll be like, oh, but there might be a recession coming. And I'll be like, yeah, but because of the global liquidity, like it's just cycles, and you take it for granted that they don't know what you've like how much effort you've put into understanding how these things work. And you're like, no, I want it all to crash because then I'll just buy it all up again. But first, in the meantime, like we've got like a massive like 12 months ahead of us. Like, how can you be so sure? And I'm like, do you even watch our streams?
Seen this 3 times.
Like, we've talked about this, right? Like, we've got a bull run coming up. Like, you got to get on board. Like, but yeah, some people are just clueless.
It's pretty cool when you go to like no coiner friends and stuff, and you just are very, very knowledgeable in this kind of area, and they're like, "Oh, I'm a bit uneasy about so and so in the market." And you're like, "Nah, this will happen. This is how it usually plays out. This happens." Then and you're like,
"It's the halving.
It's not that big of a worry. Wait. Don't buy a house now. Wait until you're like a vulture, feed on the corpses of the bankrupt houses. Like it's all coming. Just wait it out."
Crazy.
And you
sometimes
just be like,
it's like the meme when like the meme went on the roller coaster and you got the experienced crypto vet. And
the jet pilot on the roller coaster.
That's right. Is this your first time, bro? Like, come on.
It's funny though because some people get worried if you're too casual about something, and too like confident almost. It can unsettle the other person that you're talking to because they're like, oh, is this a scam or like is whatever it is. It can be even to do with your day-to-day job. Someone sees you do it every day and you're just casual. They're like, holy crap, are you sure it's going to be all right or whatever? But yeah, it's interesting just how coming across differently can affect them so much.
But yeah, I mean, I think I talked about this last week, but I was saying that we had predicted BTC to be around 69K around this sort of 8th of November or whatever. Yeah. And like I said that in February, it's literally 69K now. Like that's within a week, I've called that price, what is it? 8 months in advance to the week.
Yeah.
Like within $1,000.
Prophecy.
Just fucking nailed that.
Gonna be hanging onto that.
Where else are you gonna get that?
It's like, I'm not surprised, motherfucker. Like what's that Nick Diaz thing when he knocked out Conor McGregor, and he's just like, I'm not surprised, motherfucker. It's like sometimes you make these calls, then it plays out, and you're like, well, yeah, this is where we thought we were in the cycle. Like we talked about this. We've been talking about this for 61 weeks.
Did we break the all-time high, or we got smacked down right on it?
So these purple lines
close, right?
were from the previous cycles. Like you can go back like quite far back to these all-time highs. That's what those purple lines were. And then at the moment, I think on the daily, we've just wicked down to this one here. And I think on the weekly, it was like getting rejected off this one at sort of 69K. So I don't think we have to wait for the weekly close. So we've definitely gone above it in terms of like the price is above the weekly all-time high close, but we haven't closed the week above. So we'll have to wait till Monday. But yeah, I mean, if we can close...
Can you just have a look at the monthly while you're there? Because we had our monthly close.
So monthly close looks like it's about 71.3K.
Yeah.
So we're right there. We're right in that sort of just spring zone. I think, Ivan on Tech calls it like the teleport, where BTC just teleports. People call it the banana zone or whatever. But we're certainly at a good point in the cycle. And I'm talking about BTC here, right? So obviously there's other things going on with Hex. We're talking about the trial and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, if you go back to, Okay, yeah. So I don't know if you can see this, but so the all-time high, this is on the weekly for December 11, 2017. It's basically about 150, well, it's 154 weeks until it crosses that sort of all-time high price. So it's got this run up to it. And then from here is the sort of, the teleport zone, what I'm talking about, where it kind of goes up 220% to the first of the two, how there's like a double top. So even if you just say to the first of the double tops, it's 220% sort of teleport. And that is at the 3-year mark. So like if you were trying to think of this as a fractal and you bring this across to where we are, that this 3-year mark here, I'll have to take it off auto. But if you're saying 3-year mark, this is where it's breaking the, the previous all-time high, 69K is actually this one. And if you went up, say, 220%, but I'd have to go off the screen almost. It's up at about, oh yeah, I actually literally have to go above.
And then you monitor with the gains.
Yeah, it's just getting bullish. I need a vertical monitor to anticipate how big my gains are going to be. Look, 220% is around about 227K. So
there
like
we go.
for Bitcoin to hit,
big calls made,
220K. I mean, so I was looking originally, based
Clipper.
on yeah.
Clipper, yeah.
Far out, man. If I got that one right, I think we'd just be on yachts at that point.
Yeah.
But when I was looking at it previously, I was talking about total 2 and sort of the diminishing return and sort of saying over the previous cycles, you've seen the total 2 to diminishing returns. And even if it went, I think it was around about 3 trillion, I'd have to pull it up. But it's like we're still so far below the all-time high in terms of total 2 at the moment. We've got like a long way to go. And then I was sort of thinking, maybe we could see around 120, K like minimum. So, but yeah, that in that range, 120 to 220K Bitcoin. And then you think about it, the altcoins being, maybe the last three months maybe of this cycle, just how much they can slingshot off that. It could get pretty hectic. So I think we're in the right place at the right time.
I reckon total market cap can go absolutely bonkers because we've gone from when I was first around looking at coin market cap, it was at 4,000 or 6,000 projects. We're now up to 2.6 or something. So that's
new ones every day.
Yeah, that's right, and that's probably only capturing a portion of them, really. Like I know that half the ones that are on PulseChain wouldn't be listed on there.
No.
So yeah, so that's only just the stuff that's immediately obvious and probably listed on exchanges and things. So I think that number can just be explosive. Now the downside to that is that value is spread across a lot of projects.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, even if you went from like say total 2 to here, that's about 270%. That's from January 2018 to November 2021. So 270%. If I go above that, sort of 270 is, so that's like not saying diminishing returns, like that's saying the exact same amount. And that's probably why that 230K Bitcoin is probably too high, because I do think there will be diminishing returns. But 270% above the all-time high in terms of total 2 is 5.8 trillion. And we're like less than $1 trillion now. So it's like, even if you said, okay, maybe it can only hit like say 3 trillion or something like that, that's a long way to go.
I'm more bullish than that on the total too, just because on the total market cap, just because of adoption and things like that over time. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
But yeah, there's only really a year left in this 4-year cycle. So if it's going to go up that much,
could stretch out a little bit more too. So
different,
the elongated cycle.
Yeah, don't bank on it and don't play your game according to it.
Nah, bro, all in
100x leverage.
But how long does it take for liquidity to flow into the system? So imagine you've got everyone's been on the bones of their ass, can't afford eggs and bloody bread and fuel, and that's so they start ramping up that. Hopefully you get a good result in the US. They start pumping a bit of funds in and getting money into the hands of the average person. So that's got to take a while to flow through, and it's only when people are really flush that's when they'll start dabbling on all this shit. So they'll see the price moving up, and they'll then have surplus funds to actually start putting into the market. So it'll be interesting to see how long that takes, and that could be like a second wave up where you see that sort of kick in as well.
But you've seen this, right? This has been thrown around quite a bit. So the global liquidity cycle, and so it seems to be following that pattern pretty closely. I'd say like it's pretty correlated.
But look where it peaks, though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at it here. It's like
not too many people.
Middle of 2025.
Yeah. What does this mean by like? So, what is happening to the liquidity to fluctuate like that? It gets invested. It's debt, right? What is?
I think it's banks. Like lending money out around the world. I think that's actually what it is. How much they're actually lending. But there's also all sorts of printing that goes on as well, right? So,
Well, the lending is essentially the printing.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
how long's a cycle in a sine wave, right?
In that particular one, they went for I think there's about 4 years. I was just going to say, let me just
right. Okay,
you have a shorter term cycle, which is 4 years, and then there's a longer term one, which is about 12 years.
Yeah, I've seen some of Ray Dalio stuff on the longer cycles.
If you want to understand this stuff, he's got 2 videos there that everyone should watch.
Yeah,
I do like Ray Dalio, and I have watched those ones, but he is pretty bearish though. Like he talks about some bearish stuff.
All the TradFi guys hate Bitcoin. Same with Warren
Buffett.
But
it's just the way that he talks about, like some of these wars and stuff coming in the way that, I mean, it's been a while since I listened to it, but I remember he was predicting some, end of days type stuff. And you're sort of thinking, well, come on now. Some of that stuff hasn't happened.
Traditionally in the cycle, from what he reads, like the tea leaves he's reading, right, says there should be big, bad news. But I think we've just kind of avoided them of recent because of money printing and a lot of other things. But
the sad thing is that wars have nearly been monetized in a sense that they're actually
100%
profitable. Yeah, nearly. I'm not choosing my words to be like gentle to the subject because it is quite a horrific subject.
It's
we're talking about
terrible. Yeah,
but just trying to say it using words that maybe not being blunt about it, but it does seem to be that wars can be very profitable for certain people and certain power, certain conglomerates and companies and things like that. They're also opportunities to launder money in a sense, and so it almost seems like rather than people just kind of going, oh no, it's going to be some sort of World War III, it's kind of like people kind of pricing in, well, that could be good for this sector. Defense stocks might go up, and it's like,
they have been going.
I think that's the biggest problem, though, is when you have events like that, it is a small group of people that get extremely wealthy, and it's all the Lockheed Martins and Northrop Grumman and all those guys. They're the ones that get, and the people around them that are setting the policy, they're the ones that cream it, and it's not the average person that gets that wealth. I think if that can be, man, I'm hopeful that we see something special out of the US this this time, because there may be a chance that can be reversed, or not reversed, but the course of that direction can change it a little bit, where you're not, all the funds aren't flowing to this corrupt core group of people. It's more going back to the people. And if you see that, I think it
would be nice. But,
that's a pretty prosperous society if everyone feels
I think
a little bit.
It goes to Star Trek pretty quick.
Yeah.
If,
the first step.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who's
Like
that?
if they do manage somehow to gut all the bloat in government, and all the stuff around what they're saying is going to happen if they win the election. If that is halfway successful, that is like, it becomes pretty, I don't know. We'll just let it play out. I guess I shouldn't speculate too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can't get too hopeful with this sort of shit, because everyone has wanted this for eternity, I think. And I think it's always played out where there's a core group of people that are always wealthy at the hands of the citizens. So I don't know if we're going to see anything like that in our time, but I just think we're in the right place. Like it seems like you've got a group of willing people that are willing to take it on in the US, and hopefully that follows through to other countries. But we've also got technology that we've never had before in the form of blockchain, whereas people just never had that ability before to be able to act globally and do it peer-to-peer without having to go through all these intermediaries. So maybe we're in the zone where we've got enough of the right things to be able to do it now. I don't know, but
I think
you've got the will and the technology to do it.
Yeah, true. The first step, I think, is for people to be aware of it. So I think the problem is that most people are oblivious to a lot of that stuff that goes on. So then it's like the first step is that you have to be aware of like that this exists, that there's these global liquidity cycles, that there's these, some of these war profiteering, some of the brinkmanship and sort of posturing in, geopolitics and things around the world. It's like, a lot of it is spin, and a lot of it is about
it's all spin.
Money, like literally about people just extracting maximum value out of a system. And then when you start to understand how the banking system works and how debt is created, and you realize you're in a losing system, and then so maybe one of the only ways out of it is crypto. There's not a lot of opportunities for small players.
So the big shifts that I've seen happen is, and we take it for granted a little bit, especially like I know our kids do, is so we grew up in the information age, like where, and we were, I'm speaking personally about my age here, but it was before internet, before computers. So, and if you've grown up with devices in your hand and instant access to information, I don't think you appreciate how hard it was to get information prior to that. So we've had this massive shift where information has now been democratized, and more recently with things like X and stuff like that, you've had the dissemination of news democratized. So that was a massive shift. So that's happened over the last 20 years. Now you've got this thing called crypto coming, which has been in for 16, 17 years now. So that's now getting to a little bit later in its lifetime. And all these things compounded together are very liberating for the average person. And we've never had that in history before. Like you've never been able to circumvent central control of information or money. Yeah. And now you've got those two big pieces of the puzzle. So you can bring awareness, but you've also got the tools to do something once you've got the awareness. So I just see
100%. So most people around the world have internet access, and then therefore they have blockchain access, and then with very basic sort of coding understandings and crypto understandings, you can participate on something that could change your wealth status of your family. So it's pretty crazy, because that like you say, that opportunity didn't exist pretty much since the dawn of time until now.
Yep.
So that it is a good opportunity, and I reckon
you can go back as far as you want. Information was hoarded into very small groups of powerful people's hands. Like the information was the power. Back to when like people go into monasteries and had all their books and all that kind of shit. Like it was all
scribes,
Vatican and whatever, all that shit. Yeah.
Well, if you think about how that started, right, it was probably through weather. So if you could predict the weather, then you knew when you could plant the crops in a particular season to get the best yield from the crops. And then if you could predict the seasons based on lunar phases or whatever the timing that you were doing, then you had some sacred knowledge that was then elevated you in a community that then people would go, hey, this guy knows, otherwise they're just sacrificing goats randomly and just hoping for the best. So it's like that would have, that information. And apparently, a lot of those old, they used to engrave that stuff on staffs. Like there would be like whoever that, we're talking about ancient sort of, civilizations and things like that. And that they would pass that staff on to the next leader and stuff like that. And that information would be there. So, and then it's just, transferring that information through stories for like word of mouth through generations, which is really interesting because I was thinking about this the other day, and it's like, how everyone likes memes and you just like a meme sticks in your head and people go, oh, this meme, that meme or whatever. And I think we've talked about this as well, where we sort of say, if you exchange the word narrative with meme, a lot of things in life, you kind of are like a trope, like a narrative or a story. And then everyone just says, oh, that this is what we do because this is the way we do it. Even traditions, there's all sorts of traditions going on at the moment. You've got Thanksgiving and Christmas and whatever it is, Black Friday sales, whatever it is. They're narratives, they're memes, they're stories that people pass on. And why is it so prevalent? Why is it such an effective way for humans to do it? It's because we've evolved literally to tell each other stories, because our existence has like dependent on our ability to tell stories and pass information.
It's
generation to generation.
Evolutionary biology has the concept of mimetics, which is
memes. It's like part of the reason why we're successful as a species is because of our ability to pass on our oral history from generation to generation and to tell stories. And if you think of it like that, you kind of go, holy shit, how much of this stuff that we think, of our society is out there is just people just telling stories. And that's just accepted.
Narrative is everything.
Narratives.
Definitely.
And then, but it's powerful, right? So somebody who's been talking about, meme communities, meme coins can sometimes be split up into just straight up meme coins, but then you've got community coins. So it's not so much that it's the meme that's the focus. It's just that you've got a group of people that are so, fundamentalist about their coin, then they pass it on to everyone around them. And then it's that sort of Metcalfe's law. So I think, Hex has that in some regard. It's not really based on a meme as such, but it is a community coin, in that there's a lot of people that just shill it through, YouTube videos or Twitter or whatever. And there's a lot of people telling stories about it. So yeah, sometimes that's a good way of it, passing that knowledge on.
Definitely, yeah. The community effect, in anything is absolutely massive and powerful for it. So, that's why I'm grateful to be here. With this community, it's unreal. I was thinking about it today again about the hearing and all that. And I know there's been hearings for XRP and whatnot, but how many people are actually gathering around and like trying to do something about it together versus just sitting back and just, hoping it all works out, or just, that sort of stuff, hoping these people that have put big investments in are actually going to, put it together to get it through. It's a really, really special thing and unique. As like we said, there's lots of crypto projects out there, but not many of them are unique, and then of the unique ones, this is like something super special.
I don't think you've seen the power of our community yet, because we haven't gone through a big run up together where everyone's just flush and high fiving and stuff like that. Once you get that, it's gonna be,
it gets pretty wild.
Yeah.
Look, I remember when we had the meetup in Perth, and that was 50 cents that day.
Yeah.
Wow. That would have been.
Wow. No, there was some drinks flowing. There was some drinks flowing. It's a good feeling when So we've been through the wars, and I think so to speak, the community I think has been like tempered by the flames of the bear market, and it has only come out stronger for it. So the second we start getting a sniff of some serious gains, like not talking little gains for ants, like we're talking about some serious gains, people are going to start shilling from the rooftops. So it's going to be incredible to see.
It's not only that, that empowers the next wave of builders and people that want to do things on chain, because they've got more time, they've got more capital, they can see where this thing is going. They will, hopefully a lot of them will end up building stuff on the chain and growing it even more.
It's amazing how far it's come, really.
And I put out a tweet the other day. I don't know if you guys seen. I just said, look, if and admittedly, I was trying to do a little bit of research because I needed to know a few things for Vouch. But I just said, if you've got new people coming here, where do you find information and what resources are there in terms of listing sites and ecosystem maps and things like that? And the amount of responses I got, and there was things in there I'd never even heard of. Like I just got flooded with a whole bunch of things. And I was surprised at some of the stuff that you just don't even know is being built. And that was probably only a very small subsection of it, again, because my tweet didn't reach everyone. So,
I mean, there was that, what was that PulseChain.community or something like that? That site that we brought up last week. I think it was PulseChain.community. I'll bring it up. This site I thought was pretty cool in terms of like, it's got, have you seen this one, Jaxa?
Don't think I have.
Oh, you'll have to get Vouch on there, mate.
Yeah. Hang on, I'll just put that in my little chat here. So don't forget that one.
PulseChain.community. So I think Gerardo made it. So he's obviously Chad. And
PulseChain.community, is it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you've got the apps, and then you've got the creators and stuff like that. So you can call it this David Feeder. See, look at that beard, man. You can't miss that.
Can't miss it.
Straight away, I just got drawn straight to the beard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's an indication of what you're talking about. There's a lot of stuff that's been built on it. A lot of interesting protocols and things like that. So, and look, a lot of these meme coins and utility protocols, things like that, if they're pulled with Pulse, and if Pulse starts going up, then everything's going to, it's the rising tide thing. So I think there's a lot of potential there. But yeah, we've probably got a little bit of time to go. I mean, I kind of think, maybe slightly unpopular, but think that we've got to see Bitcoin do some massive moves first, and then that ETH BTC ratio has to flip, because it's just been into downtrend since the merge, and until ETH BTC starts going the other way.
Yeah. When you look at the ETH chart, though, what do you think of the ETH USD chart?
Well, see, I tend to only really price it in terms of BTC, but let me pull it up. I mean, it does look like it's following what Bitcoin is doing. It's certainly in a good position and everything, but zoom
right out on it. Yeah, and I agree that's an issue. But when you zoom right out on that chart, like
I don't know how far I can go back with this.
Yeah. It doesn't look that terrible.
No, it's not. And I mean, look, if you zoom out Fair enough. You can sort of see these this sort of thing going on here.
Yeah.
So
like, that's it looks all right.
I'm not
like,
saying
I know it, yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is when you get these different pockets of different things going off and people take profits and they roll it back into BTC. So people are stacking sats. That's just like, that's the game, I would have thought. And at the moment, BTC 69K is sitting right in that sort of, spring zone. But if you go ETH BTC, take it off log on the week and just sort of look at that linear channel, it's just, it's despicable. Is what it is. It's disgusting. So totally you want to see this bounce off, at least get to the midway of this channel, right? At least get to the top of the channel and then bust through the channel, even retest the channel, but do something. Like, don't just keep going down.
If we get a big Bitcoin push up, that's going to get worse.
It's going to go down. And I mean, that's fine. It just, the channels, sometimes it goes outside of it a little bit and the channel's widened and all this sort of thing. But I want to see a trend reversal. Like, I want to see this, like, that's my catalyst for alt season, is to see the ETH BTC ratio not just go up, but like completely break out of this downtrend.
Big time.
I mean, and if you don't,
the market's so broad now though that it's not all going to flow to ETH.
Well, see, that's the thing. So if you don't see ETH BTC break out, right, and that's not the signal for alt season, then you have to concede that people have chosen some of these other networks, Solana and Tron or whatever.
2.4 million different things they can put their money into now.
Well, but if most of the money is either in BTC or it's going to go into some other L1s, we all assume that it's going to go into ETH next and then flow into altcoin, like more speculative, more risky altcoins. But if it just bypasses ETH completely and just goes to Sol and all these other things, then you got to recognize it. Like, you can't.
Sorry, rephrase that. It wouldn't bypass it completely, but the way you used to see the rotations was because there was very other little choice around.
There wasn't much other coins left. Yeah, around. Yeah.
So that's changed dramatically, and everyone's still playing by the old book. It may not be that way. Like, I'm not saying it will.
I know it's sad. Look, because I don't. We all talk about how Solana has sort of a broken network and it goes down and it's centralized and all this sort of stuff.
Anymore though. Like, have you seen it go down recently?
Well, I haven't, but I've also noticed that people don't seem to care. So, like, if you if you look at that Sol ETH ratio, somebody talks about how it's it's coming down. It does not look like it's coming down. Like, it's still in the opposite, bro. Like, it's
when you have a look at the MACD and stuff like that, what's that doing long term though? Is that showing opposite? See, that's actually trending down though, isn't it?
No, this is Sol ETH. This is Sol outperforming ETH.
Yeah, but on the MACD.
On the MACD is here. It crossed over, and it's
but go back.
They're deviating.
Go back to the peak of those blue and yellow lines.
Yeah,
that's going down to where it is now.
Yeah, this is the bullish divergence, hidden bearish divergence. Yeah. I don't hold a lot of weight. I've seen a lot of those things not play out, like the hidden bearish divergences and things like that. Like, I get those things, but like, if you just look at the moving averages, on the weekly, it's the 10 is above, the 20 is above the 50, and they're stacked, and the price is above all three. And if you go on the daily, it hasn't even closed below the 20. So I'd still say we're in an uptrend. Like, Sol is in an uptrend over Ethereum. So it pains me to say it. Like, I don't like to say it, but it is what it is. Like, people are choosing Solana Jeet coins, meme coins and things over fundamentals and decentralization and things like that. So maybe Vitalik is thinking 10 years in advance or 5 years in advance, something, and But if there's only a year to go in this current bull cycle,
if you're a meme coiner, you can't afford to do it on ETH. Like you can't afford to be moving it, pressing the button 30 times a day on ETH.
Can't afford to lose all your money on ETH.
Yeah, like you can't. You
got to lose it all on
every
Solana.
time you press a button on ETH.
It does. I can confirm.
Yeah.
I mean, the meme coins we're talking about on ETH, like say Pepe, doesn't look that great. This is on the daily. It's below the 20. These are crossed over. Yeah, and so I'm just saying, you want to have your conviction bags, you want to have your long-term holds, and things that you really believe in, and I think, like I say, people have always been stacking sats since the dawn of time. Like that's the game, but we're obviously mad on Hex and Pulse and that sort of stuff. But if you are going to look at some of these meme coins, I mean, there are some good meme coins on PulseChain as well. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, just for like a small trading bag, I think, like you say, Jex, like these ETH meme coins don't seem to be doing that well. In saying that, I think that is it the S&P 6900 that might be an ETH meme coin. That's probably like
on ETH, is it? I thought that was on.
I think it is, and that's like the highest performing meme coin of the cycle or something. So maybe that's a shit call.
I feel like Solana is slightly different demographic, like slightly, like the individual who is on Solana. I've met a few of these people in real life, and they're a different caliber. They're a different kind of, they really don't care about tech at all. That's not something that factors in their mind, and they just want to have fun. I think. I don't know. Yeah, it's a different demographic. So there's also that.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about big money flows from institutional type stuff, obviously Bitcoin is the primary one where that will flow. But I think they'll also look at ETH. So they won't care about the $5 to send a token on ETH, because that's not the way they're going to deal with it. They probably won't even touch the network. They'll just do it through Coinbase and things like that. So they won't even care about the fees on Ethereum so much. They'll be just more looking at the depth of the liquidity that's available to them. So that'll come into it as well.
I was just having a look. Actually, Hex price is actually doing really well, considering
the show pump.
Oh, it's not really a pump, but like it's just
it
like,
didn't go too much, so that's all right.
It's holding up, because I thought, maybe people had talked about there being like a sell the news after the trial and all this sort of stuff, and it hasn't really done a lot. Like it went up and down.
I think we already had that, didn't we? I think we had the front run.
Yeah, I think it did bleed out for quite a few weeks. If you go, but it's holding up okay, really. It's in an interesting area. I still like to see these flip, like the 10 above the 20 and price above both. But
do you know what I like about that chart? Is that probably more based on the whole market movement that we just had with Bitcoin.
Yeah, true. I notice a lot of these charts look very similar.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good thing, because it means that if we do get that kick up on Bitcoin and it is that rising tide effect, hopefully you get a double whammy out of this. So you get the rising tide effect, and then if you get a rotation effect later, that's pretty good.
How's this MOG on PulseChain chart?
How many X is that?
This, I cannot believe that I actually had some of this. Like not a lot, but it's up 1,600% in 7 days.
How much liquidity is there?
That 100
grand. 50 grand each way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually had some, I bought like not much, but I was like, I had it in my wallet. I was like, what is this? Why is what is happening?
How long was the flat line before the run up?
Exactly.
How
like
old is it?
forever since the dawn of
right.
time.
Holy
So
shit!
yes. Who's?
Oh, so that is that
someone's
a
pumping that.
is that a forked over coin?
I think it is.
When's that date back to?
Let's have a look. Yeah, March. Oh, wait a minute. No. March 24. So May it would have been. Yeah. So no. This isn't a forked coin. Then this is a deployed. So it's probably got something to do with the Tangang, as I'm guessing. We need Tangent in here to tell us.
Haven't seen
But
moves
anyway,
like that for a while on a Tangang if it is. So
Looks like a solid buy at the moment.
pretty crazy.
It just goes up forever, right?
it never goes down. But you know, we talked about
Well,
HOA
according to
and
that.
stuff like that bottoming out some time ago, and that has actually done really well as well. So I think when I said it went above the 20 MA on the daily, it's like here. So it's like, oh, it's actually here. Oh, that's the retest. But either way, oh, only 140%. But still, yeah, there's some good ones out there. I think Pika has done quite well. That's that similar chart, yeah, that we were talking about.
Yeah.
So there is some good meme coins on PulseChain as well. I think that's probably what might draw in some of the crowds. OMG, this is, you know, I don't know if this has got a lot of legs left in it, because if Trump wins the election, then it's going to do really well. That's 400% from the bottom. I mean, yeah, I suppose you have to price these things in Pulse, but that's
still be doing all right, I think.
Oh, it'd be doing very well, yeah. So against Pulse, that's 270% from the bottom. So anyway, there are some out there for sure. But yeah, I think Hex at the moment, I don't know, because we're waiting almost in this limbo land where we're waiting for the judge to actually give a ruling as to whether that's going to be dismissed based on jurisdiction. And then we'll probably see some price fluctuation depending on that, even though it sort of doesn't matter.
I don't think it matters, man.
Like, if the case goes ahead, then I think we'll still win the case. But it just means, I guess, that it could drag out for another.
Would be a good thing to happen if it did go ahead, and then it was like, you know, the tumultuous waters, right? And then the big payoff at the end, and everyone goes hype. That would also be a good thing.
I mean, if it just got dismissed straight off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah, 43 up.
If it gets dismissed, you reckon we can get Freddie Quotes to get his coffin out again?
Oh, don't jinx it.
Wasn't it?
I think the trial is the win is better.
Yeah. Win is better. Could take a lot longer though, if we want to get it over.
So of course, you don't want to go to court. You don't want to go before a match. And if you can get out of there as quick as you can, that's what you want, right?
But like to win, you want to be selfish, or do you want? Yeah, because you can set precedents for the entire crypto industry by actually having the trial go ahead.
I still think this does.
Yeah, getting dismissed, I think, still does.
Like it shows that the SEC can't just go and lay claim to
lawfare.
Yeah, that is a big win in of itself. If you had to go the full run and defend everything, then that'd be a harder road. But I think you'd still come out on top anyway. But it's just a waste of everyone's money, taxpayers' money, and Richard's money. That's not, you don't want to see him, and just he's distracted and can't do what he wants to do for that period as well. So yeah, I hope that's not the case. I think there's a big enough win just in the dismissal, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's the other thing that's been slightly bullish for me is that, you know, there's always been this sword of Damocles hanging over our heads where even if the SEC case was dismissed, there's always the possibility of the Department of Justice doing a fraud case against RH. So the SEC might just pass their stuff on to the DOJ, and then that they could do a separate case, right? But
I don't
win
know.
again.
Listening,
What's he done that's criminal though?
well, it's the fraud. It's the fraud aspect, right? So, so what I'm saying is that in listening to what I've heard, and from what Nuclear was saying in that recording that we played earlier, the fact that they were sort of saying that they've actually they've produced a blockchain that there is no fraud in any way, because the premise was that, you know, even if there was expectations that a blockchain would be produced, a blockchain has been produced, you know, and that those funds, how can they be misappropriated when the thing was that it was delivered? So that actually works really well against a potential DOJ fraud case as well. The fact that they're sort of saying things like that, I'm like, so even if it did come about, it would be a nothing burger. And also maybe that they think there's no point even starting a DOJ case because this judge has already slayed it in this, you know, preamble case. So I thought that was interesting.
I agree. Hey, last week you were talking about Trump and, you know, this whole sort of meme sort of cycle, how everything's turning into a bit of a meme cycle. This week's just been even better for that with him, hasn't it?
The garbage truck thing. That was funny.
And like, I think, you know, he must have been watching RH or something with all the stuff he's been doing for the future with, you know, memeable stuff. But this
outrage
is
marketing.
I love this one. I think it's
is that AI though?
I think it must
be.
Yeah.
That one is, but
he's got an awesome media team, I reckon. Like they're just onto it. Like they're in touch with the broader population.
I think his son does like stuff with the younger generation as well, and it's really like on the money.
It's fascinating, like just how polarizing this is in the States. Like, because I've got an Aussie friend who lives in the States, and he's like so passionate about it, but he actually hates Trump with a passion. Like he thinks that Trump's Hitler and all this stuff. And I was like, I'm going, bro, what are you talking about? And he goes, oh, they had a Nazi rally. And I'm going, the thing at Madison Square Garden, I'm going, bro, there's like women, Asian women in the background. There's a whole bunch of like African Americans. I'm like, that's not a Nazi rally. Like that is, you're just crazy. You've gone into some sort of hyperbole where you think that this is anything approximating a Nazi rally. I'm just like, I couldn't believe it. But he was adamant. He's like, no. This is
they haven't stepped into the information age yet.
I'm going, where are you getting your news? I'm going, where are you getting your news from, bro? Like, you should maybe go on Twitter and actually listen to the Joe Rogan interview with Trump. I thought that was quite good. And listen to some of these interviews and speeches. You know, I think he comes across relatively cogent and lucid and makes some good points. I mean, he's a politician, right? So some of it's spin and some of it's bullshit, and you expect that. And they can't follow through with all their promises without, if any. But it seems to me like the way that they're being portrayed in the NBC and all the other, I guess the American media. I don't know because like I'm not exposed to it, but it seems like they're like really painting him out to be this evil Hitler character who's like wants to kill babies or whatever.
They're relying on the fact that people won't look further than the major broadcasts.
The smear across the headline.
It works. I mean, like they come out and it's just blatant lies. But if you say it often enough, people believe it. And
if it's on every news channel that everyone flicks to, the majority believe it. But I think with him, he's just got true diehard followers too, like actual followers. And that's why he's turning it on as well for them because he can put it out there. But that the garbage truck was just brilliant. And how quickly they made that happen. And it's amazing. They're on it, Yeah.
Well, look, the Biden one.
It's
Go ahead.
like in the garbage truck. No, it's
and that came about because Biden was literally saying that what Republican voters were garbage. Like, that's a pretty nasty thing to say, right?
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Like,
it's awful.
They're pulling out everything.
You can disagree with someone's policies, and you can say, I disagree, and I don't. We agree to disagree, or whatever. But you never call someone just garbage. Like if they don't agree, like
did you? You obviously watched these. You obviously watched these little comedies made. It didn't even make sense.
Oh. Yeah, no.
Doesn't even know where he is at this point. It's insane.
Oh yeah. No. Yep. Biden. I mean, the fact that he's still running the country, inverted commas, is like scary. Because he's, like you say, he should be in an old folks' home. Like,
yeah, he shouldn't even be commenting anymore. Really, he's
it's such PR damage when he says anything because it's like it's incoherent, and then you're like, that's the man running the show, is it? That inspires confidence.
The only thing I have concerns about, so you watch a CNN broadcast, and there'll be like 500,000 views on that, and then you watch like a Joe Rogan type thing and there's 12 million views on it, and you go, oh cool, everyone's obviously they're in favor and the majority of people know what's going on. But my concern is that you've got CNN, which is a localized broadcast, as opposed to Joe Rogan, which is a global audience. So I think it weighs
that
those
is
numbers.
concerning.
And same with poly markets, that's global, as opposed to their polling that they show. So I still have this underlying fear.
I know,
that
it's scary.
it can go sideways.
I know it's scary because it's like if most of the world know what's up and they're watching, you know, all this stuff on X, but I don't know if the American people are all maybe 50% of them are consuming this CNN, NBC stuff, and they just like literally like this guy I speak to, and he's like, he's just adamant that some of this stuff, and it's just crazy. I mean, because I don't know a lot about it, and maybe I shouldn't talk about it because I don't know much, but he was sort of saying about some of the things in this project 2025, and then I looked into it like a very basic, like looking into it, and I was like, hang on, these are the Republican Party policies, and they're fully separate to this project 2025 thing. This is like some other group. It seems to be like right wing, like Christian group. That's just, you know, so hey, you're conflating these two things as if they're the same. And then, but that's
because they're being told they're the same, though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's just like, a lie again. Like that's
if you look into it,
you keep saying the lie, and everyone just goes, "Well, that's what it is."
Yeah, and like they were talking, he goes, "Oh, he wants to ban abortion and this sort of stuff," and I'm going, but hang on, wasn't he saying in that debate that they were going to leave it up to the states? And then he goes, "Oh, no, that's just what they tell you." And yeah, but that's what he said, though. So
that's not what he said. That's what it actually is. Like,
yeah,
that's the whole Roe v. Wade thing. That's what it is.
So am I getting the wrong information, or like what?
Yeah, that's what you got to
straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah,
and then you're telling me something else. It's like, where are you getting your information from, bro? Because otherwise we can stop this whole argument right now because it doesn't make any sense if I'm saying that
there's no base.
Trump's policy is that, you know, that there's going to be a federal ban. If he's saying that there isn't, he's saying that he says that there is, then we're just arguing about two different things.
I think the best thing that people can do is get an X account, and at least you get to filter it on your own terms. And it's, look, to be honest, it seems like it's more, and I don't like the term, but more right leaning. But I think that's just because that's where the center is now.
Yeah,
but you can still use your brain, like you say, to do your own research and go, oh, okay, that sounds like spin. This sounds legit.
Yeah.
But this is what they're saying that their policies are, rather than just what someone tells you what their policies are. Like that's that's dangerous when you start listening to just Chinese whispers. It's like that. He never said that. Like, but anyway, I mean, I don't vote, so I don't know why I'm getting worked up about it. So.
No, but you've got a voice.
It's a grim state of the affair.
Yeah.
Like it's
you got a voice. Yeah. So you got to talk about it.
The things that play out there end up sort of leaking on to play out here and all worldwide anyway. So I've said it before. It's amazing how much we actually care and look into all of their politics. Sometimes even more than our own, which could be a bad thing. But
I honestly know next to nothing about what's going on in Australian politics at the moment.
I keep a finger on the pulse, so to speak.
Get me started.
Yeah,
I'm so disillusioned with it that I don't want to look at it.
I'll
sometimes.
give you my 2 cents. My 2 cents on all of this. Here you go.
If I can just butt in, I'm really sorry, but I got to get moving. So if I can leave it, and if you can do the charting and all that. So sorry about that. I just wanted to say 2 things though. One, I saw in the chat that McNuggets and X-Top Publisher are publishing a new nugget. So congratulations. In all seriousness though, congratulations on the baby. That's so cool.
Well done.
We love you guys. So just wanted to mention that. And the other thing I was going to talk about was Internet Money Wallet. One, how much I like it, but 2, the fact that it's got the cross-chain swaps now. It's similar to PortalX in the way of it's using change now and whatever, but it's just so easy on the wallet just to go on, do it. You don't have to connect to anything else. So check it out, and I'll probably do a run through or something on another stream, but keep going, and we'll see you guys soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Big Rig. Good to see you, mate.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend.
Catch you,
mate. See you, bro. Catch you.
And I won't hit the end stream button.
Up to you. We're going to wrap it up soon anyway. Right. But see you.
Catch you soon. Bye.
See you, mate. Yes. Thanks, True Blue, and yes, massive shout out to McNuggets and I think X-Top Publisher. For those guys, a baby in March, so that'll be 1 hexagon at a time. That's how we do it. True Blue was just talking about Internet Money Wallet having cross-chain swapping via Change now, I believe. So that's pretty epic. I mean,
I hadn't played with that wallet for a while. I actually fired it up yesterday just to see what he's been up to, and it's come a long way. There's a lot going on.
We should maybe try and get KG on the stream because
for sure.
One thing
it's aged a bit now too, and nothing bad has happened. So that's
exactly. It's that sort of Lindy effect thing that it's been around long enough now. Because I was actually in his Simplex chat, and I was because they sort of say, well, what's the best way to get attention about Internet Money Wallet and things like that? And I'm going, well, it's partly attention, but it's also partly a trust issue. So I think people just kind of whether they admit it or not, they're just thinking, hang on, if I connect my hardware wallets through this thing, is there any chance I could lose some funds? And I think the answer is no. And it's been audited, and I think that it's probably better than MetaMask and Rabby, because MetaMask and Rabby actually store your logs, like your swap logs. So whereas these guys don't. So from that
MetaMask
point
was
of view,
particularly bad about that.
Yeah, so from that point of view, Internet Money Wallet is like better for privacy, and I think it has the same level of security. So, but maybe KG could come on and talk about it more. But the thing that I liked about it, apart from the fact that you've got this cross-chain swapping, so people are on Solana or whatever, and they want to just bridge it across, is that if part of the success of Solana has been the success of Phantom Wallet, you would have to say that people who use Solana use that Phantom Wallet, and Phantom Wallet is pretty seamless to use. Like I've used it, and you can do swaps in the wallet. You can, it's pretty nice. It's a pretty good experience, far better than MetaMask, that's for sure. And so that is sort of, people think, well, how do I use Solana? Oh, okay, you're going to use Phantom. It's like if you wanted to use PulseChain, I feel like that's one way that you could just be like, oh, Internet Money Wallet, bang, and then it's got some of these things preloaded, everything's there, and I just feel like it could be a good like onboarding tool or sort of advertising tool for PulseChain.
I had it. So I had a look at the swap and just done a few. I didn't actually process the swaps, but I just set up a few to see what would happen from network to network, and the fees seem pretty good. Like they weren't getting raped on the fees or anything like that.
Yeah, look, I think people understand that if you're using in-wallet swaps, you're getting charged a premium, like somewhat, no matter where you go. Like if you're using MetaMask swaps or whatever, you're getting overcharged. You can do on-chain swaps using DEXs. You can do cross-chain bridging that it will be cheaper. But if you don't want to understand how bridges work and you don't want to understand how DEXs work or whatever, and you just want to go in your wallet and just swap it, which maybe that's like the majority of newbies, then it's nice to have a wallet like that can do that stuff for you and just swap it cross-chain. It doesn't matter if you're on Base or Solana or Tron or whatever, AVAX, Arbitrum, and then just go bang, now I'm on PulseChain. So yeah, I think maybe it would be good to get KG on, but we'll see if the timelines and that sort of work out. There was a couple of other things as well that I wanted to just really quickly talk about. One of them was just bullish because whether you like it or not, this inflationary model that we talk about, the money printing and the global liquidity, all that sort of stuff. Even in crypto, like 50 million USDC was minted by the treasury like yesterday. Just a lazy 50 mil.
As you
and
do.
Then I think the Tether treasury was said, 50 mil, that's not enough. About $1 billion USDT.
That's insane.
So yeah, just a lazy Billy.
Where does it end? Just throw some more zeros in.
So there was there was a bit more FUD coming out about
Tether
the other day, but I think it was debunked pretty quickly as well. I'd have to
standard Tether FUD. Yeah.
Something
Tether
about
FUD's been around for a long time.
Something about the DOJ looking into them or something along those lines. And then I think that was quickly debunked. So,
how's Elio trades? Yes, daddy. Come on, bro. Far out. Turn it up a bit, mate. Jeez.
Yeah, that's an insane amount.
Yes, daddy. Okay. Thanks, Elio trades.
Man, I mean, think about the man who sat behind a desk and put into a text input box $1 billion and just hit enter and probably got
I did it.
The multi-sig going and just said, yeah, that's it. There we go. Let's go. I mean, that was an action that took place on that day at that time.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. There was a couple of things. MicroStrategy also announced a $42 billion plan for Bitcoin purchases. Just a lazy 42 billy.
Sorry, guys, I've got to bounce. Sorry to.
That's cool.
Right.
No.
Thanks, guys.
I think we're about to wrap it up soon anyway.
Yeah. No, I thought you were going to go into all your charts and stuff, but yeah, I've got to head out the door. So
that's cool. Well, good to see you, Jexa, and thanks for
Great
taking us through your Vouch.run. And yeah, encourage people to check it out.
Yeah.
Jexa on Twitter, of course.
Thanks, guys. Speak soon.
No worries. Cheers, mate. Have a good weekend.
You too.
See you, bro. So 42 billy. That's a lot, right? To be buying.
It's announces 42 billion. Well, I mean, maybe they got investors or something. I don't know how.
Obviously,
works particularly.
That's crazy.
A seed round or something.
Yeah. I just wanted to do a quick shout out to Hexologist or whatever during the week because Hexologist had been in Vitalik's grill saying maybe stop dumping and we'll be all right, bro.
It's that girlfriend dump.
And then Vitalik's gone, I haven't sold a single ETH in the past month. The amount of ETH I sold has actually gone up. Is on the back foot. And then what about the ETH Foundation? Ooh, because the ETH Foundation's just been selling out of control. Bro, the ETH Foundation's paying researchers and devs and wow. Show some respect. So yeah, anyway, I've been meaning that show some respect line.
Show some respect. Okay.
Yeah, well, show some respect.
That's like,
I mean, maybe good on Vitalik for
Yeah,
showing
I
some
don't know.
balls, but still,
I was
like,
gonna like bring up the new ETH upgrade. I was really happy about it, but I don't know about
show
this
some
now.
respect. I've been
Show
memeing that. That's so funny. But I just like it how it was basically Hexo who's just triggered him into like responding. And then so the
Exo's
fact
so
is that
funny.
some massive, you know, this account's got 316,000 followers. They're all quoting this thing, and it's got hexologists right in it. This is inverse, bra. But yeah, there was quite a few accounts. I think Altcoin Daily and a few others that had been screenshotting this interaction with hexologist. So there
Just
you go.
memeing it up.
Yeah, like maybe if you just sort of get in people's grills enough on X, and you've got hex
Yeah.
in your username, then eventually, you get screenshotted.
Hexologist. Yeah.
So that's pretty funny. What else is going on? Oh, this was funny. Let me see if I can. I'll have to pull this as a tab. Did you see this one?
And over a longer time horizon, how
Oh, wait a minute. Just maybe give you a thumbs up if you can hear it. Yeah,
I can hear it. I could hear it.
over a longer time horizon, how concerned are you about the potential impact of the dollar status as the world's reserve currency?
Did the microphone fall off the table?
And over a longer
I just thought that was piss funny, like literally as they're talking about the reliance of the US dollar.
Yeah.
Just the emblem just falls off the podium. Oh, classic.
Golden.
This season of crypto has just been.
The more I think about that, the better it gets. It just is like they can't afford to hold it up anymore. It's
just gone.
US dollar.
Let me just think about this while it just literally falls off the edge.
We're running out of budget.
We got to stop getting podiums made in China.
The Timo podium.
Oh, there's so many jokes. But anyway, look, it could have happened to anyone. But Janet Yellen, I mean, yeah. Something about her. This is just, Now, let's just quickly have a look at the chat before we wrap it up. I think we had some people randomly shilling coins. Contraction lenders. I don't know anything about this one. I've never heard that guy, but got our standard guy, Trump GWB.
That was when you were showing the Sinusoid capital liquidity cycle.
Oh, okay.
Was that? So those go back a bit.
No worries. I'll just skim through them. But yeah, good to see Hexadelic up for a beer on a Friday, Arvo. That's the way.
Yeah.
KD, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Your mod. Yeah, we did. Look, that's interesting because I think maybe because the Mog on PulseChain did so well that maybe that might bring in some Ethereum moggers. So, yeah. There you go. Dr. McLovin was here. Hans, what's up? Haven't charted any shitcoins. Look, I mean, I feel like we already did some charts.
We did.
So I don't really want to go back and do it again.
Sure.
I just kind of like threw it in there. So maybe go back and check that out. And then, it looks like Klaz is saying some things. Oh, Red Squirrel, what's up? Yeah.
Squirrel.
The Squirrel himself / AKA Fast Abdul. Yeah, I think we got through the chat. So,
All right.
I guess, is there anything you wanted to chat about before we wrap it up? Or any insights?
I mean, I'm kind of pumped about these changes to Ethereum, the new Vouch upgrade. It looks like they're going to try and just edge in some security upgrades and running the blockchain itself, not the whole history, but at least some of the blockchain on a tiny, smack my desk there, a tiny, like on phones and stuff, you could basically become almost like a node or some partial tiny compute portion that does contribute somewhat. I haven't fully gone into the technical details, but it looks like it's going to be super good. Like it'll be one of the better upgrades.
Yeah, I was excited about that account abstraction thing where they were saying that the EOA
And
wallets could have smart wallet functionality, almost like a
there's
contract.
more. There's more than that. I don't know if it's all coming in Verge, but I've heard it and I've seen some stuff on GitHub where they're doing, I think Secret Network already does it, but it's some form of processing data that is encrypted. So the way the computation happens is it happens on encrypted data without decrypting it. That has a name and I'm blanking on it now, but that's awesome. That's going to be some wicked stuff. I don't know how long it might be another case of 2 more years kind of scenario. I haven't looked into the date of release, but there might be some super awesome upgrades coming in terms of privacy.
That's awesome.
Yada, yada, yada. Yeah.
Oh, look,
It looked really killer. I could be wrong. I could be reading the wrong news and I got sold upstream or something, but I think
no, it'd be
I have
interesting
to go back and look at it. Maybe that'll be a topic for next week.
Yeah, man, if
I'll
you
do a
can
deep
and
dive
find
on
out some, that'd be sick. Yeah, that'd be good. I
Yeah.
just saw this comment here and I got slightly distracted.
How long you reckon?
Kian Quinn, I think that's like maybe Chan Quinn because it sounds almost almost like Latin, but I don't know how to say that. So apologies. How long do you reckon Bitcoin will drop, or will it bounce back quickly before the election? So, Kian. Okay, there you go. That's how you say it.
Depends who wins it.
Quinn. Oh, it's Irish. Ah,
there you go.
I was way off.
Look at you. Yeah.
Irish. Yeah. Okay, I get it now. I've got Kian. I've got a couple of Irish mates and stuff. Always good value down the pub.
Definitely.
But yeah, Kian's question. So basically saying, how long do you reckon Bitcoin will drop, or will it bounce back quickly before the election? I mean, this is like anyone's guess, right? But I just had a thought. So 43 was talking about this last week where he was saying that the election would, the result, I guess, would be a sell the news because people were pricing in a Trump victory. And at that point, Bitcoin hadn't gone up like it was, I think, I don't even know what it was, but say it was 60, 65, 67, maybe K. And I was like, oh yeah, they can't really sell the news unless they pump the price first, right? Because it had just been going, it was fairly stagnant. And then 43 predicted it would go up this week. And it did. It went all the way to like 73K. So, but then now it's down to 69. I'm wondering whether or not it has gone up enough for them to do a sell the news, if you know what I mean. So, because if you think about it like this, you go, if Kamala gets in, that's bad for Bitcoin, right? So then price drops. But you can't have it where Trump gets in, that's good for crypto, and then price drops. So then what are you saying? You're saying that price is going to drop no matter what? Like it will 100% drop? Like that doesn't make sense. Like normally you have one side and the other, you don't know which way it's going to go.
That's not how this works.
And if everyone knows that it's going to go down either way, because if Kamala gets in, price drops, Trump gets in, sell the news, and it's going to go down, then that just means that it'll do the opposite because like too many people are pricing in one thing that's happening. And then so that they put in a lot of, or people put in short positions, right? Because if that's what they guarantee. So then they have to liquidate all those shorts by pumping it up. So it only really works when you have uncertainty either way. So I think that's probably more likely that if it's just going to be like, don't overthink it. And if Kamala gets in, price go down, Trump gets in, price go up. I think that's literally how it's going to play out. You might see some volatility, people try and sell the news, but like just because the first move is down doesn't mean there might not just be some massive pumpage after. So I think it's going to be pretty quick.
Depends how it's all publicized as well. Like if it's like, oh, Kamala's winning, Trump gets in. Like if it's that whole run up, right? It just depends how it all goes and how the polls go, how the sentiment, how the media wants to spin it. If they want to try and cover their butt because they think Trump's going to get in and gut them, if they don't give him favorable coverage, if the opposite happens, if there's a lot of factors that can happen. I'm not saying that Trump would do that. I'm just saying,
yeah, you're right.
A lot of
It
things
depends on how it gets portrayed, isn't it? So, look, I would just say I encourage all of our, American viewers to go and vote either way.
Yeah.
Have your say.
If you can, use your ID too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
don't
then you should.
don't let Trump cheat and use your ID.
Look, I feel like everyone should have to. If you have to have your ID to buy smokes or booze or whatever, then you should need it to vote. I think that's a no-brainer. So, but look, encourage everyone to vote either way, just so at least it's a proper democratic election. I really hope that Trump gets in, and I think that there could be a bit of volatility around that time, but once the result is known and if Trump wins, then it's go time. Like, it's going to be all in. But that's like BTC.
It'll be a little wild. I think things will be really heated the day of the 5th American time, and it's gonna. I would watch out when you're outside. I think things will get a little heated.
Oh, okay. Could get a bit hectic.
I don't know. Ooh. No, I was there. This is running on way too long. But I was in America when Trump was getting elected the first time.
Yeah.
And there was there was a lot of protests in the streets and stuff.
Yeah, stay safe out there.
So stay safe. Yeah.
All right. Important.
But do vote.
Important message. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again to Jexa and True Blue that came on, and of course yourself, Base Radian. Thanks to the Replay gang. Thanks to the chat. You guys rock. Special shout out to all the Hexicans who made it to the court case. You guys are absolute champions. Mad respect for you guys for doing that. And let's go team. Hopefully we can turn the ship around. And interesting, maybe next happy hour we will have a new president of the United States.
Yeah.
Someone to talk about. Awesome. Rock on, guys. Enjoy your weekend. See yous.
Happy days.